It may be a small island in the Atlantic Ocean, but Ireland has captured the imagination of the world.
From its natural beauty to the richness of its unique culture.
This stitch is not written down.
Ireland has a kind of magic.
And it's extra special to me because I was born here.
And I felt it was high time to go back and get properly reacquainted with my native land.
It's very cold.
Its stunning landscapes, vibrant cities, and perhaps most of all, its people.
Cheers. Sláinte.
Storytelling is really strong in Ireland.
You look amazing.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I turned that. Look at that. I defy anybody to come to a location like this and not just to smile. The magic never stops in here. I'm not going to leave. So come with me as I explore this enchanting country. On this leg of my journey, I'm heading through the northern part of the island. I'm starting in Antrim in Northern Ireland and then making my way through historic Derry, Londonderry, before heading on to the northwest coast and hopping back on the wild Atlantic Way as it passes through the beautiful beaches of Donegal and Sligo. I'll be encountering people and places at the centre of a changing island. And one place that's emerging from its troubled past into a hopefully brighter future is Northern Ireland. To my generation, this was a country we saw mostly on the news in the period known as the Troubles, a time of violent sectarian conflict. But since the Good Friday Agreement of 1998, Northern Ireland is a much more peaceful place. Visitors from around the world are now enjoying its historic cities and the beauties of its landscape. Being me, I'm of course starting with the landscape. Lots of people who head this way make a beeline for the North Coast and the Giant's Causeway, but I'm going a little bit off-piste, and I think I found a little gem. This is Lough Neagh, the largest inland lake in the whole of the UK and Ireland. Right in the heart of Ulster, Lough Neagh borders no fewer than 5 of Northern Ireland's 6 counties and supplies 40% of the country's water. The lake is shrouded in myths and folklore too, and this chap is apparently responsible for its creation, or so they say. The mythical story goes that the legendary Irish giant Finn McCool scooped out a chunk of earth and threw it out across the sea towards his Scottish rival. It fell short, and that became the Isle of Man. The remaining crater became this lake, Lough Neagh. Lough Neagh is so vast, it boasts a myriad of small islands. I'm heading for one of them today with Tim Griffin, who runs boat tours here and has promised to reveal more of Lough Neagh's stories along the way. You must be Tim.
Hello there, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you doing?
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I put the life jacket on.
Absolutely, yeah. Hopefully we won't need it.
Nope.
So where are you from, Tim?
I'm from a place called Timbridge.
Yeah.
It would be in the middle of Northern Ireland, at the top of Lough Neagh. At Timbridge, there's a big bridge that goes across the river, and there's a bend that you can't see round. And years of going back and forward across the bridge, always wanted to know what was around the bend. And I didn't know anyone with a boat that could take me and show me, so I went one day to a boat manufacturer just for a look and fell in love with that other boat out there, and we started exploring what's on our own doorstep, and it's amazing. There's different stories as to where the water of Lough Neagh come from. In reality, Lough Neagh is filled by 7 rivers that flow into it from all around it, but the folklore suggests that there was a well over at Ardbow.
A whale?
Yeah, no, a well, a spring well.
Yeah.
And
could have been a whale.
Each time that someone would draw water from the well, they were supposed to put the capstone back on the well again. They never put the capstone on it, so they went to bed that night and woke up the next morning, and
here we are.
Here we are. This lake had just appeared overnight.
It's funny, you know, I've travelled all over the world, and there are similar stories about islands in Greece and in Chile, and a lot of angry gods and giants and all the rest of it on there, throwing earth everywhere. And
creating all of these incredible islands. They're nice, I like them.
They're wonderful.
Love a good
folklore.
myth. And what's this out here?
This here is the torpedo platform.
Right.
This was built by the Admiralty in 1942
Right.
as a base to test the Mark 8 torpedo, which was used in World War II.
Oh, okay.
These torpedoes were depth adjustable and they were adjustable steering and they could steer the torpedo.
So state of the art at the time.
State of the art at the time.
Bless.
It's now a bird sanctuary, which is one of the reasons why we're so far out from it. We have to stay a certain distance from it. So we're coming up on Shane's Castle. Can you see it from your side?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Shane's Castle was originally built in the 1300s by the O'Neills, the O'Neill clan, famous clan here in Ireland. Castle itself was destroyed in a fire in 1816, the same year that the conservatory was finished.
Oh,
and they put it down to the fact that the Banshee had burned it. They have a resident Banshee here. Banshee is a spiritual spectre or ghost. And she lived with the O'Neills in the castle, and everything was okay as long as she had her own room.
Right.
Right?
And what happened?
Privacy. Well, they threw this party, and someone used her room, and this put her nose out of joint, so she burned the castle down. Well, that's the story that they're saying.
I thought you were going to tell me that she was just a bit annoyed about the conservatory. She didn't approve of the design.
No, well, they claimed the insurance and all back then, 1816.
There's just so much folklore, story, myth and legend, isn't there? It's lovely.
The lake covers almost 400 square kilometres. It's like being at sea. It's almost an hour before we arrive at our destination, Rams Island. The island is just 1 mile long and about 400 metres wide. It used to be pretty inhospitable, but a team of locals have undertaken a massive restoration project here. Brian Cassells was a key figure in that enterprise.
Who are your friends, Brian?
These are two misters. They're Muscovy ducks. And they're quite pretty, I think, too, in their own way. Ugly and pretty. And when we come out to the island on the boat, often you find them walking out the jetty to meet you.
A little welcoming committee.
Friendly people.
Just
yes.
gorgeousness. Sorry, I can't walk past a bit of moss without having a bit of a stroke.
And you can see from the rings on the tree that this is quite an old tree. This one actually fell a number of years ago in a storm.
It's a beauty, isn't it?
It is a real beauty. And you think of the history that's involved here.
So over the years, you've sort of cleared it up and made it more accessible to the public. But in terms of the conservation of the wildlife, the bird life and everything else here, you must have put a lot of work.
Oh, yes, we would encourage the nesting birds and facilitate them, any way we can. The trees, if you look closely at the trees, you'll see carving on the trees. Names carved into the trees.
That DB there.
They all date, majority of them date from the middle 1940s. And those were the American GIs that were stationed locally at Langford Lodge.
Yeah.
And they often, when they were off at the weekend, came over here and they had barbecues, parties.
Girlfriends?
Well, who knows?
There's evidence of human life here way before World War II. This magnificent round tower dates back to the early Middle Ages, when there was a monastic settlement here. The monks would probably have used it as a lookout and a place to take shelter from hostile invaders.
You'll see the doorway. Now, round the back, it looks like another doorway. That's modern. That's nothing to do.
So that came later?
That came later. And there's an interesting little lookout here. And I would suggest that is original because there's a flat stone at the top and a flat stone at the bottom. So it looks as if that has been built into the actual construction of the tower.
Yeah, rather than being put in after.
Right, yes. But it's still in remarkably good state of preservation and still quite straight. So we're very proud of that.
Yeah. And who's this?
This is Robert Cardwell. There were actually two houses on the island. There was a small house at the other end, Robert and Jane Cardwell, and they were the caretakers of the island and of the summer house for the O'Neills. And this is Robert.
I'm glad it's not Jane.
No, well, lovely portrayal of his long beard. And it's said that they were totally self-sufficient on the island. They grew all their own vegetables, they had their hens, and they had a cow to give them milk.
Living the dream.
And it was said that no matter who ever visited the island, they never left without a cup of tea and something to eat from Jane.
How very lovely. Quite fancy a cup of myself now.
Well, let's go.
Sanctuaries like this are so special and they need to be treasured and preserved. Quiet moments, surrounded by trees, are the stuff of dreams. Well, they are in my world anyway. After the tranquility of Lough Neagh, I'm heading towards the Northern Ireland border now, and a city with a long and often troubled history. Such has been the divide between the Catholic and Protestant communities here that it's now got a double name, Derry, Londonderry. But the city also boasts a stunning location in the valley of the River Foyle. There's lots of steeped and twisting old streets and beautiful old buildings. And its 17th century city wall is one of the very few remaining intact city walls in all of Europe. The river runs through the town and historically divided the Protestant and Catholic communities.
The Peace Bridge was built in 2011 to improve relations between the two communities. And thankfully, the last quarter of a century has brought happier times here.
I wanted to meet someone who's lived through the changes of the last 25 years and has hopes for a better future. Charlene McCrossan runs guided walking tours of the city. Her dad started the business 30 years ago when Derry, Londonderry was probably one of the last places to visit on most people's holiday list. She's taking me on a stroll around the old walls of this historic city.
The walls were built in the early 1600s and they were built by the Honourable Irish Society, known then as the Guilds of London. It was all part of the plantation of Ulster. So they are very significant for that Protestant settlement, the Scottish Protestant Presbyterian settlement coming over here.
At that point in time, was the conflict more about religion or was it Irish versus English?
It was more Irish and English because the reason you had the plantation of Ulster here was it was after the Spanish Armada of 1588 when the Spanish Armada came up around the north coast of Ireland. So England wanted more of a Protestant settlement here in order to secure England a lot more in years to come.
The wall's origins were the start of a divide that's lasted to the present day.
The walls have played a significant part in more, what should we say, more current politically sensitive situations as well, haven't they?
They have. So during the time period known as the Troubles, from 1968 to 1998, the walls at the height of the Troubles were actually occupied by the British forces. Over here to the left-hand side, we have what is known as a peace line. There's one remaining exclusive Protestant area, and that's on the other side of this fence. So this is a divide between the two main communities. And my mum came from the left-hand side of the fence, and my dad from the right-hand side of the fence. So Protestant and Catholic.
Which is why you're so good at telling the stories, perhaps, and you've got the lived experience of this.
Yeah, exactly. So my parents married over 40 years ago, and it was very much the reason as to why my father started this business as well in the early 90s, because he genuinely had a keen passion for all the city's history and all the culture, rather than one side and the other.
But when Martin started the business in the midst of the Troubles, this was the most unlikely holiday destination, and his clients were largely journalists here to report on the conflict.
He said, one day it won't be just journalists. It will be visitors coming, searching their ancestry, wanting to hear the history. And that's where he found the cap and ran with it.
And he was right, and look, started a long line.
Exactly. Hopefully my kids will be following in my footsteps soon as well, yeah.
Very important that we call it Derry Londonderry,
Of
isn't
course,
it?
yeah.
Why is that so important?
Well, it's to recognise and appreciate both cultural backgrounds and both religious backgrounds, because I always say it depends on whether you kick with your left foot or whether you kick with your right foot as to what you call this city. Traditionally, the Catholic community call the city Derry. That was the original name of the city, Dura or Derry, and then the Londoners came over and built the walls, and in 1613, London was put in front of Derry, and it's remained Londonderry officially since. But with Derry Londonderry, you're appreciating and respecting both sides of the community there. Call it legendary. That's my favourite one. It keeps me out of trouble, but it's what we truly are, is legendary.
So this is a view that tells many stories.
It does. So this is the Bogside area, and the Bogside is an area that did see a lot of trouble in the 60s and 70s, even up until the 90s. Bloody Sunday was one of the most horrific events of the Troubles that occurred right here in the Bogside. It was an anti-internment demonstration, a civil rights march that day, which actually resulted in British troops opening fire and killing 14 people in total, and 14 others were severely injured. The murals of the Bogside collectively are known as the People's Gallery.
These murals are a powerful tribute to the people of the Bogside in those troubled times. But more recent work alludes to a new, more peaceful era. Like this tribute to the Derry Girls TV show, which has become a global success.
People all over the world are watching this show and loving it. People even where English isn't even their first language are watching it with subtitles. And people where English is their first language are also watching it with subtitles because they can't understand our accent. But yeah, we have visitors coming in now from all over the world because they've watched and loved the show.
Your family have seen so much change. What would you personally now like to see change in the next 10, 20, 30 years here?
Well, first of all, I'd like to see the peace lines, the security fences removed totally. I'd also like to see more integration amongst children in schools, in education. Currently, there's only one integrated school in this city. My two children attend that school, so I am a big advocate of integrating the kids in education. Yes, integrate them, but teach them the history as well. Peaceful times are upon us now. We're in the most peaceful times that we've ever been in. And first and foremost, it would be that I want that to continue and get even better as the years go on.
Oh, well, Shelley, thank you for being my guide. I couldn't have asked for a better one today.
Oh, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to show you around my legendary city.
It's great to see Derry Londonderry attracting visitors again, and if those visitors are like me, they'll want to find the city's green spaces too. Its closeness to the countryside is striking, and just 10 minutes from the centre sits the beautiful Brook Hall estate. Brook Hall was the headquarters of the English King James during the siege of Derry back in 1689. Then in the 19th century, the Gilliland family bought the estate. They created this stunning arboretum with its diverse range of trees. There's a lovely Victorian walled garden, and most recently, a biomass willow farm. Current boss David Gilliland and local slow food entrepreneur Emily McCorkill are now opening the estate to the local community with food foraging and mindfulness workshops. A chance for David to share some of the joys he experienced as a boy with a city that has had a lot to endure.
I had quite a sheltered childhood, being able to live here and not having to engage with a lot of what went on in the local area. So my parents did a wonderful job of keeping the whole family kind of sheltered from a lot of that.
Do you think, in retrospect, because you were so, as you said, sort of sheltered from what was going on, How has that impacted you now as a grown man when you know the severity of the Troubles and what was happening?
I think, what has really surprised me is how, even through the face of adversity, the people of the city still pull together. There's such a great sense of community. It's one of the friendliest places in the world. The world didn't stop for the people of the city here. They continued to work through and got on with it, just lived it as if it's another normal day and it's just something to get on with. My aunt always told me this story of when she went shopping with my grandmother during the height of the Troubles. And they were in a dress shop down on the quayside. The police came barging in and said, "There's a bomb threat, everybody needs to evacuate straight away." And so they all went running out of the shop and all were standing on the quayside. And then the explosion went off and the shop was destroyed. And in all the panic and pandemonium that was going on, my grandmother was marching, my aunt, who was only young at the time, up and down the quayside looking for the shop owner because she had to pay for the dress that my aunt was now wearing because her clothes had got destroyed in the bomb. And that just gives you a flavour of what the people of the city were like. Even though something awful has happened, you still got on with it.
The city was once better known for its trees. Its original Irish name means Oak Grove, and the Arboretum at Brook Hall has a tree with roots firmly in the city's past.
Tell me about your special oak tree.
So we believe that this tree is most likely the oldest and largest living oak left in the city of Oak. At the time of the plantation, Derry, which was known as the Oak Grove, most of the oaks were cut down in building the city, but also for building the Royal Navy fleet. So this landscape was devastated. So the oak that we have, we reckon it's around 400 years old. That's just after the plantation, around the time of the Siege of Derry. So most likely it was either too small to be cut down at that time, or it was planted as a sapling not long after it.
Gosh, incredible. Well, permission for me to hug it later.
Of course.
Thank you.
Can't wait for that. But first, time to go to the walled garden and learn about foraging with the lovely Emily.
Now, you're not a Derry girl.
No.
So where in the States are you from and how did you end up here?
Philadelphia. So I came
Philly?
over. Yeah. So I came over as a youth worker. Was meant to be here for a year. I ended up staying for 3 years. Met my husband then, and then 2 kids and a dog later. We're still here.
So this is home. You're not going
he's
anywhere.
A Derry man, no.
Okay, well, I think you've done well. You've landed in a good spot.
Hey, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful city, beautiful people. This is it.
You're absolutely sure?
Yep.
You've done it before?
Yeah. So go ahead and grab that bud.
Yeah.
And you can just
pull
it
the whole
off.
thing off?
Yes, please.
Sorry, Magnolia. Right.
So take away all of those dark bits there.
Okay.
And just peel one of those petals off.
I'm going to eat this.
Have a bite. Tell me what you think.
I love magnolias, but I've never eaten magnolia leaves before. Oh.
What do you think?
Oh.
Not like the scent at all, is it?
No.
It's so different.
Whoa, but strong.
Yeah, very strong.
It's a very strong flavour.
A bit peppery, a bit
Very-
carroty.
And very, a lot of perfume going on there. It
Yeah.
really hits the back of your throat. I'm going for another one.
Yeah. But not quite as rose flavor that you would think a flower petal would be.
No.
It's not really a dessert one. It's more like, you can almost have it as...
So what would you serve this with? Would you just sprinkle it into a salad, or
Yep.
would you put something in
Sprinkling
it?
onto a salad is always easy. Cut it up and it looks beautiful. Little julienne slices. In Asian countries, they pickle it, which is a lovely thing. You can candy it as well. Put it into honey or a sugar syrup, and you can have candied petals.
Got pink ones here.
We have pink ones. So the pink ones are a different flavor as well.
And we can eat those too.
Yes.
Oh, I should just do a little warning for people at home. It's not all magnolias.
Not
that you
all
can eat.
magnolias, so definitely do your homework. If you don't know by research or by looking it up, there's free apps you can get where you just scan the petal, you scan the leaf, and it tells you what it is and if it's
Right.
safe. So do your homework definitely.
So
but
don't just go home and eat all the magnolias that
Never.
you can see in the park.
No. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that tastes more green, if you know what I mean. That's bizarre because
Almost
it's pink.
vegetable-y.
Yeah, that's what I mean. More green.
They're lovely, aren't they?
So this is a big moment, not only because it's one of the first trees that you've ever hugged,
Yes.
but because this is, David told me, the oldest oak in the city of Oak. So
Oh my gosh.
what we've got here is about 400 years of oak love. Right, just go for it. Find your place and move on in.
All right.
I hope Emily's foraging and outdoor yoga classes attract lots of locals to see the beauty of this estate. It's amazing that it's so close to the city's centre. We started here with talk of conflict, and we're ending with a blissful sense of peace. Long may it last here in Derry, Londonderry. After that energising stop in Derry, Londonderry, I'm heading to the spectacular coastal county of Donegal in the northwest. Donegal is the last county on the Wild Atlantic Way and goes right to the top of the country. But we're heading for its southern part near the town of Bundoran.
And the reasons I'm here are the beaches. Donegal has a string of stunning beaches stretching right across the county. And the waves are pretty epic too, much to the delight of the surfers around here.
Surfing started in Ireland back in the 60s, but it's recently become one of the country's most popular sports, and Bundoran is now its capital. Pete Craig opened one of the town's first surf schools 18 years ago and has seen and taught surfers from all around the world on these stunning beaches.
Most of the people that are here, are they visitors? Are they just passing through? Because it's a really full-on surfing scene here now, isn't it?
I mean, it's such a mixture. There's a lot of tourists at the weekends, but even now, the winters, strangely, I've got this scene of big wave surfers from Hawaii, Australia, which is, for the locals, very bizarre. But, you know, so I guess it's a welcome addition to the town and the season, if you like, which was traditionally from June to September. Now people want to come in October, November, December. And not just big wave surfers, students, digital nomads, all kinds of people, basically. We teach French and Italian and Spanish people their first ever surf lesson, which is weird because they didn't do it in their home country. They come to Ireland and then they decide to come and learn to surf. Every weekend, there's people from all over the world, never mind just Dublin, coming to stay and stay in the surrounding areas. And there's so many nationalities, it's crazy.
There is quite a lot of competition, as you've just mentioned, for other places in the world to learn how to surf. Why would you say come here?
This beach in general is known as a beach that picks up any swell. So we're here today and the waves are actually quite big, but this in the middle of summer when everywhere else is flat, this has a wave.
Right.
It's been said this picks up the swell off a whale's fart out there. So I think you're okay today, there's plenty of waves.
There's plenty of waves.
You can certainly see the appeal of these spectacular beaches. Despite the cold, they attract a genuinely global community.
The surf community, it's very friendly because in the ocean, you know, you need, if something happens, you need your friend around.
I would say it's up there with, you know, one of the best places in the world, for sure, for big waves.
Tahiti, it's one place I filmed yet, French Polynesia. And it's big waves there, but here it's more hard because have the cold. It's big waves and cold, and in the big days, early in the morning, it's so hard to wake up and put the wetsuits. It's sometimes the snow. This it's the hard part, but in the end, it's good.
The weather you get here is kind of unlike anywhere else in the world, so it makes the whole experience, you know, more memorable.
And if a Brazilian and an Aussie can brave the temperatures here, surely a native Irish girl like me will be able to handle it. Time for a surf lesson.
So we'll kneel down beside our board. Gonna put our hands on our rails, chest on forward.
Yes.
And shine. Okay?
Yeah.
So we're paddling early, we're paddling often and keep paddling. Wave hits my feet, we're gonna do 4 more paddles. Now, get your head up looking forward. We're gonna stand up and I want you to look at me and go, hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Breathe, okay, very good. So our head is up, looking where we wanna go, and our hands are controlled. You're beautiful, let's hit the water, okay?
Water! Down the back! Oh, I have to say, I was pretty miserable getting into a wet wetsuit.
on a wet, cold, rainy day. But actually, that was amazing. And if there's anything that makes you feel alive, it's an experience like that. And Anthony's a brilliant teacher. I'm not sure a surfing career awaits me, but I won't forget this day. Need a cuppa now, a hot cuppa. I'm staying in Bundoran for my next slice of Irish life, too. Since I've been recovering from my breast cancer diagnosis, I've been focusing a lot on my health, fitness and nutrition, and one of my new daily habits is a breathwork exercise. While there are different opinions about how breathing can help people feel better, physically and mentally, breathwork is an increasingly popular activity all around the world. So I'm interested to meet Patrick McEwen, who lives here on the west coast of Ireland, but has found an international audience for his own theories, which focus on breathing more slowly and through the nose.
Patrick, let's start in the beginning. What exactly is breathwork? I mean, we all breathe every single day, 20, 25,000 times. So what's the exercise of breathwork?
I suppose it's understanding what, by changing breathing patterns, what can you do to your own physiology? And two main things would be you can either down-regulate or you can up-regulate.
Right, so you can calm yourself or you
can stress yourself.
What are the advantages of breathing through the nose? What happens when you breathe through the nose?
I think the most important advantage is that it slows down your breathing pattern. And if we breathe fast, the body is telling the brain that the body is not safe. And that was my pattern 20 years ago, plus, And I know the effect it had on my concentration, the effect it had on my sleep. Like, I was in school, I had no more interest sitting in the classroom when I didn't have the capacity to hold my attention on what the teacher was saying. When I changed my breathing patterns in 1998, I will literally say it improved my sleep dramatically, but it made me better cope with the situations that were unfolding around me. Breathing has given me a softness to life which I wouldn't have had.
I'm sure living in this beautiful part of the world also helps.
I think there's a different quality of life here. The weather doesn't always be in the right place for us, but there's a ruggedness and there's a beauty and there's a natural, I don't know what the word is, but a natural feeling that I think there's a spiritual connotation here as well. And, aside from, say, religion, but in terms of the degree to which we can connect with everything around us, I feel I can do it easier in this place. So, Julia, I think this is a wonderful exercise to incorporate into our walk because we can all get out for a walk 15, 20 minutes a day, and we can also do breathing exercise. So it's training for the body, training for the breath, but also training for the brain. We'll start off, take a normal breath in through your nose and out through your nose, and pinch your nose and hold your nose, and just holding your breath for about 10 paces or so. And after 10 paces, then it's to let go of your nose, to breathe in through your nose, and then continue walking, breathing in and out through your nose.
And just continue normally?
Exactly, just normal breathing in and out through your nose for about a half a minute to a minute. And I think it's always wonderful to breathe out through the nose because on the exhale breath, the nose is capturing the moisture and heat from the exhale breath. And this helps to prevent dehydration, for example. So it's not about breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. The nose is in and out. So again, and what better place to bring our attention out of the mind and into the body and into the moment. So Julia, where is your attention right now? Absolutely. That's where we want to go towards. So when you breathe through your nose during physical exercise, such as a walk, it helps to desensitize air hunger. So the more you breathe through your nose during physical exercise, the easier it gets. And it's practice. And that's what it's all about.
Patrick, it's been amazing. I could spend all afternoon doing these exercises with you here. It's so stunning. I want to go for a big, long walk along that beach now.
The views continue to be spectacular as I go down the coast now and cross the county border into Sligo. From that rugged wild Atlantic coastline to its great mountains, Sligo's dramatic landscape inspired much of the poetry of W.B. Yeats. Sligo's most famous son is buried here because though he was born in Dublin, this was where he spent many of his formative years and where his heart ultimately belonged. And today, I'm taking the chance to tread a path he knew well.
I'm taking a little seaside walk outside the village of Ross's Point. This is the northern edge of County Sligo, and this is where Yeats and his younger brother Jack, who was a fantastic painter, used to come on their summer holidays. Let's find out why.
Yeats and his brother often stayed with their uncle at this place, the now rather derelict Elsinore House. It was built by a pirate called Black Jack, whose ghost is said to still haunt it. The house has just been designated a site of historic importance. I wonder if the ghosts are looking forward to its imminent restoration to its former glory.
Black Jack was one of many infamous sailors that came from around here because we're right at the northwestern tip of Europe, at the mouth to Sligo Harbour, which is a good location for pirates.
The sea is in people's blood here, and this statue shows a woman waiting for her loved ones to return to shore. It's dedicated to those who lost their lives in the many shipwrecks they've had here.
It's a beautiful piece. She's so mournful. I feel you, sister. This is a gorgeous slice of Sligo landscape right here. In the distance, we've got the mountain of Knocknarea. Right in front of me is Oyster Island. And over there is Coney Island. And before you ask, yes, this Coney Island came before the Coney Island in New York.
This original Coney Island was actually named after the vast quantity of rabbits that inhabit it. The Irish word for rabbit being quinine.
That fella there is called the Metal Man, and he's been here since 1821, safely directing sailors through the deepest part of the channel into the harbour. So lovely, that noise, isn't it? Just the waves lapping up against the shoreline. Very peaceful.
This old watch house was where the boat pilots watched for ships coming in. But this is one of those strolls that saves perhaps the best view to last.
So this is Ireland's answer to Table Mountain in Cape Town. It's called Ben Bulben. It's 525 metres high, and it's an iconic image here in Sligo.
Ben Bulben was formed in the Ice Age when the movement of glaciers created its very distinct shape. In his play Land of Heart's Desire, Yeats described Sligo as a place where beauty has no ebb, decay no flood, but joy is wisdom, time and endless song.
It's a lovely little stroll, and you can see why he and his brother enjoyed this bit of coastline. I've moved along the coast now to a place called Enniscrone, and the Irish weather's doing its thing. Time for a nice warm bath.
Kilcullen Seaweed Baths overlooks yet another beautiful Sligo beach. It's been here since 1912 and has been owned and run by the same family ever since. Father and son Edward and Kane Kilcullen are the latest to preserve the bath's unique Edwardian flavour.
It
Edward, what are you doing to me?
You're in a steam box. That's a replica of the old Edwardian steam boxes that were here in the bathhouse since 1912.
Oh, it's lovely and warm, I tell you, it really does. Warm the cockles and everything in between.
The idea of taking the steam bath is that it opens up the pores in your skin before you get into the seaweed bath. And the theory is that with your pores open, you absorb more of the goodness from the seawater and the seaweed.
Amazing.
Each room has a steam box and a bath.
I can't even imagine the recessions, the wars, the trials.
Mm-hmm.
This place has been through a lot.
It's been through a lot, and it never failed to open its doors for the season.
And it's so lovely being in here because, I mean, I know that obviously it doesn't go back to 1912, but lots of original features.
Oh, lots of original features, yeah. We've got the original baths, the original taps, a lot of the original tiling is still here. I took the bathhouse over, my wife and I, in 1989, and we had to decide then whether we were going to do it up or do it
down.
Do it down. So what we did was we restored it.
So how has the clientele changed over the decades?
Well, quite a lot. When I was a child here, growing up in the 60s, it was people like farmers who came here on holiday. And they came after the harvest to treat themselves with seawater and seaweed. But we've got a much, much younger clientele now. The vast majority of our customers are 30-somethings who just take seaweed baths as an adjunct to healthy living.
People pay a lot of money for some strange treatments. Seaweed is genuinely incredibly good for us, isn't it?
Seaweed itself, in its growing process, concentrates the iodine that's in seawater. So there's a huge concentration of iodine in seaweed, as well as a whole lot of other minerals.
And tell me about the seaweed. Do you have to treat it at all? Do you have to clean it? Do you have to do anything?
No, you see, we're very lucky here. Inniscrone is on a pristine beach and coastline. So the seaweed that we use is Fucus serratus, and it's harvested at low tide every day. So it's literally growing on the rocks like grass grows in a field.
I see you've got your son doing it.
Yes, Kane does that, yeah. It's a little bit hard on the back for an old guy. So the seaweed is harvested every day. The only treatment it gets, and it's only because we want to break it down and release the alginate, is that we put it under a jet of steam, that steam that you're steaming in.
Right.
We put it under a jet of that steam for about 20 seconds, and that has the effect of breaking down the seaweed. So when we toss the seaweed into the bath, then we get the nice homogeneous mix of the gel into the water, so you get that lovely oily texture. What makes it very agreeable in a seaweed bath is the alginate, which is a gel which goes into solution in the water. So you get this lovely oily textured amber tinted bath with green seaweed floating around in it. And it does sound a bit weird until you actually see it and get into it. And then
I mean, I'm a big fan of seaweed. So far on my trip around Ireland, I've eaten it, I've had a cake made of it, I've had it in salads. It's a brilliant
And now you're going to bathe in it.
Now I'm going to bathe in it, yeah. I don't know if you like seaweed when you're in the sea, but obviously it's tickling your feet. Obviously it's tickling my legs, my feet. Oh gosh, it feels absolutely divine. That feels so good. Oh, that's lovely. And the smell, oh, that is strong. The only way I can sort of describe it is it's a bit cabbagey. I mean, it's not, it's more earthy and more sea than cabbage, but I'm just trying to bring it alive for you. It's really, really lovely. I love the fact that this is such a traditional thing to do, that it's something that farmers and the older generation do, and now you've got people in their 20s and 30s who are cottoning onto it. You're definitely quite close to nature when you're doing something like this. It's very real, very lovely. So it really is a tradition that has lasted the course. And there are so many of those in Ireland. They're wedded to their poetry and to their literature and to their music and to their seaweed. I've been poached so the pores on my skin open up. I've had the gorgeous, lovely, warm seaweed bath and soaked in all these gorgeous nutrients. And now there is a final part of the process. And it's not going to be quite as relaxing as this bit. This is the cold shower bit to close the pores again afterwards. So apparently, in the 1900s, 1800s, whenever it was, my brain is freezing, when people used to rock up here on their horses, they couldn't leave with the pores open, so they had to get nice and cold before they went back outside. Well, I think we could say that this has definitely sealed the memory of the seaweed bath into me through every pore. Wow, that's amazing. If you've got any heart conditions, don't try this.
Support information for the issues raised can be found online at channel4.com/support. Difficult, distressing and yet crucial viewing next, kickstarting an investigation into the past, the dark legacy of Britain's human zoos.